Let's talk about the difficult task that faces your organization. You coming in after protesters, Nigerians protested against the removal of the subsidies, and you are supposed to come in and make a difference in the way that you implement this. A lot is riding on your shoulders. How difficult is your task?
Well, it's only difficult because it's a special intervention, and it has been brought about by the fact that government thinks that if it were to manage the savings from the subsidy removal by its normal machinery, it might suffer from loss of credibility. So they're going to carry out the program, but asking people who are independent of government to help in managing it so that people can see that what government says is doing with the funds is really what is going to happen on the ground.
Yeah. Now, of course, some cynics will say, you know what, it's another commission, it's another body, so here is another way of, empowering some people. What would be your message to doubters that you are actually going to make a real difference on the ground?
Well, I think, first of all, the committee is made up of people who have created track records for themselves in management, in politics, in things that matter. And therefore, these people are bringing their experience to bear on an issue that is live and topical right now. But the other thing is that actually what we're bringing to the table is the integrity with which we have done things in the past, and that integrity is what government is relying upon to create the credibility for the program. Yeah. That's what we're bringing.
How empowered is your board? In other words, how difficult will it be for you to manage your relations with the government, which has mandated you, of course, to implement the change that they seek to make on the ground?
Well, this is a presidential committee.
Sure.
So we report indirectly to the president, and he is the one that makes the decisions. If we have any difficulties or any hesitations, he is the one that clears them, and you can't get any higher than that with this government.
Have you had a chance to think about some of the projects that you need to implement as you now start rolling off and getting things done on the ground?
Well, as you said yourself, the committee was inaugurated only yesterday, so we've only just started meeting. And until we look at the projects that are proposed and decide whether they're the right ones, whether they're in the right priority sequence, those things will happen. But we've just started.
Indeed. Now, the government is talking about a public works program targeting the youth and women, and they're talking about the potential to create 400,000 jobs. Now, in a country where we know there has been jobless growth, you're talking about 7% economic growth, but at the same time, you're talking about people falling more and more into the poverty trap. Do you think a public works program would be the appropriate vehicle in this instance to try and tackle this?
Well, it's only one of the vehicles that should be used to tackle this. There will be other vehicles, but this particular one is focused on using the savings from the subsidy removal, and therefore it has a special place. It cannot be the only vehicle being used, and therefore I expect there'll be other vehicles as well.
Yeah. Do you have other sources of income apart from the fuel subsidy, which we know was packed back after the initial increase, and the difference that was agreed on that just fuel subsidy is going to be part of what funds you? Any other sources of income that you're looking at to try and get your project off the ground?
We don't know of any other sources for now.
So it's going to stay strictly as the fuel subsidy. Now, when you look at the numbers that come out of Nigeria, as I referred to earlier, we've got a situation where the economy is growing, but at the same time, the benefits of that growth are not being felt by the majority of Nigerians. What difference can your organization make?
Well, it's precisely for that reason that this special intervention is being put in place. That so far, the direct link between action and benefit has not been very good. Now, in this case, it's a dedicated program using dedicated funds and managed by people who have no other distractions other than to get this thing to work. I think there's the chances are very good.
So when are you sitting around the table and formulating a program of action with your fellow directors and the guys who have been asked to help you?
Well, we had a first meeting yesterday, and we're planning more meetings. So as the days go on, we will obviously get to the points where we will begin to show some action.